Hi, I'm Tamara Elzey. This is Nicole Manley, and we are here to do our roadmap team presentation.
And I'm going to be starting our presentation off. Okay, as we said, roadmap team presentation. This is for Extension Agency Mandatory Training Roadmap. So, we just wanted to welcome you to, the end of our project. It's been a really great experience getting to work with you. Um, we just wanted to be able to summarize our final report, our final projects, our final deliverable. And then, we're just really grateful to be able to work on this project because the UGA extension agents are so hands-on and they do such great work for their community that it's just an awesome opportunity to be able to do anything to make their jobs easier and, increase the amount of time and effort and energy they have to, again, just serve their communities and make their jobs and training more accessible. So this is our team. We have our team and roles. We have Nadia Blair Hahn is our project manager. I'm Nicole Manley as the assistant project manager. We have Tim Human, the data analyst, and then we have Tamara Elzey as the graphic designer. So essentially, I wanted to go over the original scope of this project. The original sense was to create a simple, engaging, interactive PDF for UGA extension agents to be able to use on the job or just be able to access easily so they know where they are in their training progress and what they had to do next so they wouldn't get too behind and they would have everything they needed to do for their jobs. And because there's three different kinds of agents, they're very busy with their community engagements. And again, it can be hard to keep track of the necessary training. So we wanted to create a document that would help them remember, what training they're meant to keep up on and when. So the initial needs were for an interactive, preferably short. We didn't originally agree on a PDF. We're still kind of debating other options. It could be some kind of data deliverable, but we eventually settled on an interactive PDF. And then something that majorly shortened an original, more static document with a multitude of pages into a short, accessible, again, interactive resource that the agents could access online and offline. This is an example here of the original scope, the interactive job aid. We're thinking interactive accessible PDF, end users as the UGA extension agents. So our engagement timeline, it's been a great, opportunity to get to work with you. We originally had, a meeting where we prepared questions beforehand to offer to you, our clients. And I think, we got really settled. We got to, learn the scope again of where we were, our audience, the different three branches of agents, what you kind of meant by interactivity, how interactive we wanted it, how evergreen we wanted it. And you got to answer some more questions. We made our scope document, which got approved. Then Nadia, our project manager, went back with you, our clients, to have another meeting to really cement our training timeline, where we wanted to know, like, hey, how strict is this timeline? Are there prerequisites for certain courses that we need to establish? Can these courses be taken at any time, or is there kind of still a loose timeline? That's something that we all got covered, which was great. And we, got to cover what exactly we meant by interactive, what we meant by should we include links to any other documents, any other websites, which we agreed not to because we want this document to last as long as possible. And if something breaks, then we would have to go in and fix it. But it's preferable, for UGA extension to just be able to use this as long as they need to. So this is an example of our workflow. Our project manager, Nadia, created this really amazing, thorough document. where we really split up our final report, final deliverables, final presentations into multiple parts. We split it amongst the team. We, had markers where we could say, hey, haven't started this yet. This is in progress. We've completed this. This part is dependent on this part. We should start by this date. It should be due on this date. Yeah, and we split really evenly amongst our team. Really got established some great teamwork, and I think we organized this and split it up in a really efficient way. This is just an example of how carefully we wanted to break down this project because we were really motivated for it to be successful. So essentially, we have our project's outcomes and deliverables. We had to make, some adjustments and pivots along the way, of course, based off the reflection of feedback. An example of this was we originally did have an idea of the timeline that we thought was going to be a bit stricter. Like, hey, maybe they have to complete a foundations training, like before getting into any role specific training. Maybe this has to be completed around the, first 30 days and it's absolutely mandatory. And then we learned, which was helpful, that the timeline was more flexible than we originally anticipated. And prerequisites were, for the most part, not required for specific trainings, although there was a loose suggestion of when training should take place. So this was an interesting process where it required us to brainstorm how we might want to visualize a roadmap that doesn't have a strict, explicit start and end date, but still kind of gives the learners a grasp of probably where they should be, but it's not a must. And then more pivots again. Our original I think workflow was we wanted to, possibly include other resources to websites to be like, hey, UGA extension agents, you should check out this. This is really helpful. But then again, you, our clients, had a really good point about we want this to be as evergreen as possible because, maybe the website doesn't exist in a few years, but this document still does. And then we are going to be able to explain, Tamara here, the how we broke down progressing in our deliverable and what it took to get us to our final product.
All right, I'm going to share this. Um, yeah, so we're talking about the deliverables. Thank you, Nicole, for overviewing all of that really nicely. This is what we were originally provided. And this document has a lot of information on each of the different aspects that have the underline. You could click on those and it would take you to another page in the PDF. Actually, this was a PowerPoint presentation. So there were many pages in this PowerPoint presentation, and for some, it gave a lot of detail and in others, not so much. But this was the general overview that we were provided at the beginning of this project. As a team, looking through the different requirements and trainings and the expectations for who has to complete what. We saw there's a big portion of this that is for all of the agents. And then it distributes a little bit less into as you go into the specific career paths with the 4-H agents, the ANR, and the FACS agents. Initially, this was kind of my thought process. We have these 3 different career paths and we're going in 3 different directions. But taking a look back at that previous slide where you saw that all the agents had a lot of the trainings that are very similar to each other. So we iterated a little bit more, and each time along the way, we were coming back together as a team. And Nadia, our project manager, was sharing with us the information that she had gained through the client meetings. And that really helped us to brainstorm as a team. And we did storyboards and shared them, and were able to collaborate on which parts we liked from each team member's storyboard, and came up with something that was kind of like this. So this is kind of where we started. I like the idea of maintaining the actual road but then I wasn't quite sure what to do once we got down to these other parts where it was the individual career paths. And then beyond that, the ongoing internal personal, well, professional development opportunities that we wanted to be sure that we highlighted those as well. So then we got to this version, and I felt like we're getting quite a bit closer. Um, my road was a little too wiggly. I needed Nicole's help on that. Nicole and I worked together very closely to come up with the final design of this PDF. And but here I felt like we're getting closer with the professional opportunities that would happen after the mandatory trainings. Still not quite sure how to get the different agent career paths, but we also wanted to have included in the PDF this timeline that was actually broken down into a table. So for different learning preferences, that some people could look at the graphic and choose on the links on the graphic. And if other people just wanted to look at the trainings on a table, they would have that accessible as well. So this is the first example of the table that we had. Um, and then we took that, and I'm going to share my screen. So this is what we have now. This is the PDF that we've created, that interactive PDF that can be shared online. It can also be downloaded and does not need any online interactivity to have this function. So right now you're looking at this as just a downloaded file on my computer. And to start with, we put the instructions. Wanted to make sure that this is very clear to understand how to work through this. In addition to the instructions and the layout that we have here, Nicole and I also worked on doing the alternate text for each of the graphics for increased accessibility. And there is also the tab option. So you can use keyboard strokes to move through this document. You don't have to have a mouse to click and point and everything. You can actually just tab through it. So if you click on instructions here, it gives an overview of the fact that you'll be clicking on the individual roadmaps, and for each of the first three, as opposed to the fourth one before 19 months, we indicated that that's where the career paths will kind of diverge, and you'll be able to click on each of those. So we go back to the upon hires. So when the agents are first hired, all agents will complete these two trainings. And then within the first 30 days, they'll be able to go through these other three additional trainings: the introduction to extension, the risk management, and the policies, procedures, and protocol, that they'll be able to go through all of those. At 14 months, they have a lot more trainings that they'll be expected to attend to. And throughout this document, anytime you want to go back, so I just went back to the first 30 days or back to the upon hire, you can click back and forth between any of them. Now, when we get to the 19 months, before 19 months, I put the little indicator up on the top left that this is what these next three career paths still have to have their trainings done before 19 months of employment. But we have the 4-H agents and the three that they will be required. If you click on these little flags, they're off to the side of the before 19 months roadmap, you'll see the ANR agents, and the colors coordinate from the ANR to the pop up this up top. And then the FACS, facts, I'm not sure how you say that. That shows all of the trainings that they'll be required to do as well before 19 months. Then that is indicated on our roadmap that once they've completed that, the mandatory trainings are over. They've completed all the requirements. Now, if we want to look at this as a table, you click on the bottom left, and this breaks it down, the same information that was included in the pop-ups for each of the roadmaps. It has all the same information here if someone would rather just look at an overview of everything. And then you can click on the home to go back to the previous page. The other part of this is the ongoing professional development opportunities. And we have these four different areas up top. The first is between 1 and 3 years for the County Extension Coordinator onboarding. There are two different ones at the 3 year mark. So you can enroll in the Extension Academy, or you can do the training to become an agent mentor once you've been employed for 3 years. And then once you've been employed for 5 years, you can start the Extend Development Leadership Development Program. So even from there, if we want to go back and look at any of the other areas that we had just learned about, you can click through those and also go back to the table. So we're very proud of this final deliverable. We're going to go back to, so speaking of our final deliverable, this PDF that you can see the difference of where we started, the product that we were given initially, and then what we were able to develop. Um, the approach that we had is we wanted to be sure that all of our information was contained in just a single page or a 2 page PDF document, as opposed to the initial product that we were given was a PowerPoint with many, many different pages. That we've been able to simplify that. So it's just the graphic that you see that you can click on, or the second page is the table. It's just those two. And I think that that makes a very much easier use of this product. And the fact that we did not put any links or other details that may change as far as the content in the courses, that this is a product that we believe will be evergreen, that it can exist for a long time without requiring modifications.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then, we have our organizational impact where short-term outcomes, I mean, honestly, as soon as we get this approved and we're happy to make any possible changes, this can be implemented as soon as you want. So this, if any of the UGA extension agents are, struggling with confusion on how to proceed with trainings, this can be, implemented tomorrow if you want. Probably not tomorrow, maybe, next week. But essentially, we can make this as fast or slow as you want. And then projected long-term benefits, this is probably short-term, medium-term, long-term, but we're hoping this reduces any UGA extension agent confusion about the trainings, especially what, encapsulates the all agents training versus the specific, like 4-H, A&R, etc. training, and, what they specifically will have to do. And then what we're hoping for is now that it's easier to find out what training they have to do, it's easier to access it. They can just pull it up on a computer, they can download it, just, check it in like 5 seconds if they wanted to. We're hoping this increases completion rates for trainings, and we're also hoping this decreases any possible lateness. Where, again, we don't have a strict timeline, but maybe let's say, hey, we kind of wanted this done in the first 14 months and it's been more like 18. But, with this timeline feature and possible email reminders or however you'd like to communicate with your agents, this can possibly keep them more on track. And with this setup, because this will be available for non-UGA extension parties to see, because it'll be on your website, we're hoping this maybe spikes some interest in any other, parties who might want to partner with UGA Extension, who maybe just wanted to take a really short glance at your trainings to see, hey, what kind of work do these people do? And go like, hey, my group does something like that. That's really interesting. I'd like to work with you. And this is great because they can look through it in like 10 minutes and, make decisions from there. And so this kind of goes into our recommendations and, opportunities. Next step is, you can look this over, see if there's anything you'd like for us to change. Then you can implement it as soon as you want. Send out an announcement to your agents to say, hey, this is a new guideline we have. It's available. We'd recommend you check it out. It can be viewed online, offline, whatever you prefer. We also recommend, starting to keep track of completion rates for trainings. If this improves it, if, agents are getting trainings done more on time. Maybe you could monitor your website traffic to see, who knows, if any non-UGA extension participants are looking at this or interested in, examining it, maybe working with you. That's something to, I think, keep an eye out for. And then, oh, future opportunities in general. Just, this is, I think, an interesting setup that is Tamara's idea to use the InDesign and use. But for you, our clients, this was a really great idea to have a short but interactive, PDF that has some layers, has a lot of information in it, but in itself, it's really just one page. So, I mean, this I think worked really well for these trainings, but I mean, it can work great for other programs too. Within UGA Extension, maybe other departments in UGA would also like similar structure, job aids. But if, there's any other, maybe if you want to break down, online trainings versus in-person trainings, kind of the gist you have for that, and you're like, hey, I like another job aid to kind of clarify some things like that. We could use this setup for just different modalities, different topics.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Nicole. That
Yeah.
taking this one framework, the organization this was put together, that it really could be used for any kind of training pathway for more specific, agent specific, or for a completely different part of the extension agency. That this can be reused in many different ways, and there can be more detail added to it or kept simple. There's really a lot of flexibility that you'll be able to use this interactive PDF in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much. And especially because we made sure to use the University of Georgia and University of Georgia Extension style guide. So pretty much every single color involved in this is within UGA official colors. The specific banners for, the agents are variants of official colors, but then we use, official logos, official shapes. So this could really be applied to multiple UGA contexts. So, as a closing, we just wanted to thank you for the opportunity of being able to work on this project. It was really a pleasure working with you, and it's just a really interesting project from the beginning, and just getting to help these UGA extension agents for, all the good that they do in their communities. We just are really happy to help, and we've had a great time working on this project, and we hope we get to work with you in the future as well.
Yes. Thank you all so much. I hope that you have enjoyed our presentation.
Thank you.